What's up, it's your boy Super Mario 1990 coming at y'all with a Cyberpunk 2077 delisted reaction. So just last night, Thursday night, just a week after Cyberpunk's release, PlayStation Network delisted the whole game. You can't purchase it on PlayStation Network. It's delisted, and you can also get a refund too. So if you bought the game, you could get a refund. They'll know that you bought the game. It'll be in your history, and so you can get a refund if you want to. Now the good thing to know too is that if you bought it, you're not locked out of it because it's delisted. You can still play the game. You can still keep the game if you want to. If you don't want to get the refund, if you know that somewhere down the line it might get better because of the with the patches coming up, or if you already have like a smooth experience like me, I got it on the base PS4, and my experience is actually pretty good. I just don't like the graphics, but I haven't been running into any bugs. My game hasn't been crashing, and some people have actually been having good experiences with the game on the base PS4. But for those of y'all that aren't and want y'all money back, y'all can actually get it now through Sony. So CD Projekt Red, the developers that made Cyberpunk 2077, they've been going through it, man. Like it's been rough. They had that apology, and I'm thinking that's what happened. I think it stemmed from the apology. But what had happened yesterday, I guess there was like a meeting between CDPR and Sony, and then Sony ultimately made the decision to be like, you know what, we just gonna delist the game, get these people their money back. Now, personally, I think why it's happening is because CDPR, when they issued that apology earlier this week, they said that people can get their refunds. Like digital purchasers can get their refunds from Microsoft and from Sony. Now, when they said that, people ran with it. Like, oh, we can get our money back. Cool. So they started going. Now, me personally, because I'm a PlayStation gamer, I don't know how Microsoft was doing it because Microsoft's not even being mentioned. I don't know if they're going to delist the game and follow suit like Sony did. But I don't know how they do their customers. So maybe Microsoft customers are getting their money back if they're complaining at a high volume that, hey, this game ain't playable. But with Sony, I've noticed that a lot of people weren't getting their money back, and they've been like on the phone or in the little chat thing for hours and not getting their money back, and having these complaints, and Sony just ain't hearing it, right? So when CDPR said, yeah, y'all can get a refund, I guess Sony sat back looking like, nah, we ain't say that. You ain't converse with us about that. Like, why are you telling people that? And I'm like, yo, we got strict guidelines. Like, we got to have it where if your game is installed and you play it, it's a wrap for you. You can't get your money back, right? That's their stance, right? And so a lot of people were complaining like, yo, we're not getting our money back. Like you said, we could get our money back. I was with Sony and them for like 4 or 5 hours trying to tell them like, yo, man, the game unplayable. Game keep crashing. Give me my money back, cuz. Like CDPR said, we can get our money back. Give us our money. And so people were complaining to CDPR, and CDPR had to clear up everything hours later after the apology. Like, oh, well, Microsoft and Sony got their guidelines. They're not doing nothing, special for our game. And so now it's kind of looking like, okay, well, why did you say we can get a refund then if we can't? Because it still depends on their policies, and most people aren't falling in line with those policies. They bought the game, wanted the game. It was so much hype around the game. And then, of course, you're going to play the game thinking that, oh, it's going to be all good. But it's not. So, of course, people can't get their money back with the strict guideline policies. But now, since it's caused so much controversy, I think, honestly, Sony's arm is being twisted here. So now they're looking like, okay, well, we can't just not give people their money back. Okay, delist the game and then give people their money back. And I think, too, it'll help traffic flow because now you know who has the game because it's delisted, obviously. Now you cannot buy it as of now. So if you got it in your system, you got it in your system. And then people can be like, okay, yeah, I want my money back off this game. It wasn't working. It ain't running well. And that's that. Now you can get their refunds. And so they said it's delisted until further notice. So it'll be back. I mean, it's a big AAA title. Of course it's going to be back. You're not going to, permanently keep the game off the storefront. It's just not known when it'll come back. Me personally, I think because CDPR did say that they're going to do 2 big patches for January and February. They're going to continue working on the game, of course, as they should. But they're going to have 2 big patches in January and February that's supposed to fix the myriad of problems that people are experiencing while playing the game. So I'm thinking maybe somewhere around that time, when those patches are supposed to be coming in, that's probably when you'll see the game back on the storefront. That's not for sure. I'm just speculating. That's just what makes sense to me. But you know, who knows? It could be earlier than that. I don't think it should be after that. Like when you put the patches in and it's supposed to fix the game, you should put it back on the storefront. Unless people test the game and be like, yo, these patches ain't working, bro. These patches, nah, they ain't working. You gotta do something else, man. But I'm thinking that's when the game will be back, maybe sooner than that. But yeah, it's just crazy. Like a whole week after release, and PlayStation is looking like, yeah, we gonna cut it. We gonna cut it. So and honestly too, I don't know how CDPR feels about this. I mean, I know they had the meeting and everything, and Sony came to their conclusion and they made the decision. But I don't know how they feel. I would automatically assume that they don't feel good with this because people cannot buy the game now through PlayStation Network for now. So that's like a chunk of income that you're missing out on. I mean, I know there's a lot of complaints and everything too. So it's like, and you're losing trust with your fan base, with your consumers and your gamers. So now it's kind of like you done lost faith. So it's kind of like how much money would you have gotten? And they know that they got to give people their money back too. You know, they're offering the refunds and everything. But still, I would think that it would still sting that, yo, we can't sell our game. Our game can't be sold right now from this storefront. That's some sales you're missing out on. But, you know, something got to give. And I think Sony really just did that because they're looking like, okay, CDPR put us under the bus when they came out with that apology talking about, oh, people can get their refunds. And we looking like, nah, bruh, we got rules to this. Now they look like we got to go back on that. I don't think Sony's really gonna like, you know, look at this and be like, oh, maybe we should be like a little less strict with our guidelines. I think it's gonna be the same. They're just doing it for this game because it's so controversial, and the way CDPR went about the apology, it's kind of like okay, well, we got to compensate for something because they dropping the ball hard. They dropping the ball multiple times within a week. It's like, come on. And so, yeah, it's just not a good look for CDPR. I guess it wasn't a good look for Sony for a little bit. Sony looking like, okay, you know what, let's come with the solution, delisted, give people their money back, and then they can stop complaining, and then we'll put it back on when the game is at a better state and people are more satisfied, and then people will probably, you know, buy the game again and give it another shot or wait for it to go on sale, whatever they do, and hopefully the game will actually be running smoother. Like I said earlier, I've actually been having a good experience with Cyberpunk, and the game is pretty good. I haven't been running into any bugs. The only thing is really just like a frame rate slowdown during the intro, and then when I try to change the perspective of my car, like from third person to first person and all of that, it takes like a couple of seconds to shift in and out. But other than that, the game's actually been running pretty smooth. The only problem that I really have right now is the graphics. These graphics look like some decent PS3 kind of graphics. And so I do remember that CDPR did say that they're actually gonna improve the graphics. But they said it's not gonna look like, you know, the high-end PC or, you know, the current gen like PS5 or Series X. It's not gonna look like those graphics, which is understandable because, I mean, next gen is next gen for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, the high-end PC versions, they're high-end for a reason. You pay all that money for a reason. So of course there's gonna be like some differences, you know, graphically speaking. But I mean, I'm hoping for at least like decent PS4, a game released in 2018 for PS4 looking type graphics, like at least that. Because these PS3 graphics they got right now, them ain't hitting. It's like, nah, like I want the game to at least look like Grand Theft Auto 5, you know. I mean, not a knock on GTA 5, but it's like GTA 5, you know, at the time looked really, really good at the time. But then as more and more games got released over time, you saw like how you can build upon that. Like, oh, okay, these games look so much better. You go out to GTA 5, it's kind of like, ooh, you got to readjust your eyes a little bit. You know, I mean, it looks good, but it's like you've seen better looking games. If you can at least get it looking like GTA 5, then we'll be all good. I mean, I know it is a massive game. It's a massive open world. A lot of assets are spent toward, you know, allocated towards a lot of different aspects of the game. So maybe that'll scale back the graphics a little bit, but at least make it look like it's a PS4 game and not like a glorified PS3 game, you know. Then I'll be good. But yeah, other than that though, man, CDPR, they struggling. I don't know. If they make good on these patches and, you know, get the game running to a better state, because this game, remember, was supposed to be released in April 2020, right, this year, and then they pushed it back. They delayed it, what, 4 times? April, September, November, and now December. They delayed it 4 times. And they're saying that the game should be ready, you know, patch-wise by February. They probably should have released it February, or maybe a little later than that. So it's kind of like, what was the rush if the game will come out like this, and then you gotta give people their money back anyway? You should have just waited. But as far as I know, this is based off of Cyberpunk 2020, a tabletop game. So maybe they were like, hey, release the new Cyberpunk in 2020, but it's like, if it's gonna come out like this, it ain't worth it. You gotta wait. But yeah, so that's that, y'all, with the delisting. But you can get your money back. That's the good news. You bought the game on PSN, you can get your money back. But yeah, this was Super Mario 1990, and I'm out. Peace in.